What's up, guys? This is Alex from the Duran, and it's been 6 years since WikiLeaks editor Julian Assange entered the Ecuadorian Embassy in London, and he hasn't left since. So yesterday marks the 6th anniversary when Julian Assange went to the Ecuadorian Embassy to seek asylum. And it's been 6 years now that we've seen the standoff between Assange, the UK police, and the US deep state. Assange went to the Ecuadorian embassy and has been hiding there, trapped there, stuck there, however you want to call it, for 6 years now. He knows that if he were to leave the UK embassy, the police would extradite him to the United States, where he would probably just be made to disappear. Now you're going to see a video from RT where they chronicle the 6 years since Assange's stay at the Ecuadorian embassy, the stories that WikiLeaks has revealed to the public. You're also going to see how RT shows a couple of segments with Mike Pompeo, journalist Bob Beckel, and some other people who have called for Assange's arrest and even his assassination during these 6 years. After the RT video, I found another video which is taken August 19th, 2012, which is the first time that Assange appeared on the balcony of the Ecuadorian embassy to speak to the people. That was the first time he spoke from that balcony, and during that speech, he urged an end to the US government witch hunt of WikiLeaks. And he also called out the UK Parliament and its ministers for ignoring international law by keeping him trapped in that embassy for what was back then only a couple of months, knowing that if he were to leave that embassy, he would be extradited to the US. Those months have turned into 6 years. Anyway, take a look at these two videos, juxtapositioned one before the other, and let us know what you think. If you like the video, click the subscribe button down below, and also click that notifications bell to get notifications every time we push out a new video. Also visit the Duran shop, pick up a shirt, help support the Duran. Until next time, take care.
It's been a deadlock case that stretched on and on. Today marks 6 years since the WikiLeaks chief Julian Assange stepped foot into the Ecuadorian embassy in London and has not left since. That's over 2,100 days cooped up behind those walls. The main reason, his biggest fear: US retaliation for WikiLeaks exposing information that those running the show in Washington would prefer to have kept under wraps.
Julian Assange is engaged in terrorism. He should be treated as an enemy combatant. WikiLeaks should be closed down permanently and decisively.
This guy's a traitor, a treasonist, and he has broken every law of the United States. The guy ought to be, and I'm not for the death penalty, so if I'm not for the death penalty, the only one to do it, illegally shoot the son of a
WikiLeaks walks like a hostile intelligence service and talks like a hostile intelligence service. Ignorance or misplaced idealism is no longer an acceptable excuse for lionizing these demons.
In these last 6 years, a lot has happened. The original Swedish investigation into sexual assault allegations against Assange has come and gone. International organizations such as the UN have called his detention arbitrary and demanded his release. Concerns have been raised multiple times about his deteriorating health, including in London courtrooms. Assange's legal team has made appeal after appeal for him to be guaranteed secure passage if he were to walk out of Ecuadorian territory onto British soil, but to no avail. He's still wanted by British authorities for breaching bail conditions when he initially stepped foot into the embassy. Assange worries if he walks out, he'll be sent straight to the US.
This case is and has always been about the risk of extradition to the United States, and that risk remains real. Nobody can credibly deny that risk.
In December, Julian Assange was granted Ecuadorian citizenship, raising his hopes that his story was finally going somewhere. But that hasn't happened either. Ecuador's new president, who took office last year, has indicated that he's no fan of Assange speaking out about politics while under his roof, demanding that the journalist and publisher does not exceed the limits of free speech. Since March, Assange's access to the internet and other forms of communication have been cut.
I have made a very respectful remark to Mr. Assange. His status doesn't allow him to talk about the politics of any country, let alone ours.
It looks increasingly like Julian Assange is threatening to outstay his welcome at the Ecuadorian Embassy, which means the direction this lengthy saga will head next is probably more uncertain now than ever. Anastasia Churkina, RT, London.
Human rights activist Craig Murray believes it's unlikely Julian Assange will ever walk free from the Ecuadorian Embassy.
What we're seeing is extremely shameful. We're seeing pressure being brought to bear on Ecuador by the United States, by Spain, and by various neoconservative motivated countries in order to silence and potentially imprison one of the great editors and journalists of our time who has contributed massively to public knowledge. All the signs are that the United States intends to extradite Assange as soon as he is able to leave the embassy. And this on charges of espionage, which is an extremely serious offence. And it's quite extraordinary that somebody who has simply published information given them to information of enormous public interest to be put into the public domain, that a country which historically has claimed to be the champion of free speech seeks to bring that kind of highly political persecution against a publisher and editor.
I am here today because I cannot be there with you today. But thank you for coming. Thank you for your resolve, your generosity of spirit. I thank President Correa for the courage he has shown in considering and in granting me political asylum. And to the people of the United States, the United Kingdom, Sweden and Australia, who have supported me in strength even when their governments have not. And to those wiser heads in government who are still fighting for justice, your day will come. To the staff, supporters and sources of WikiLeaks, whose courage and commitment and loyalty has seen no equal. As WikiLeaks stands under threat, so does the freedom of expression and the health of all our societies. I ask President Obama to do the right thing. The United States must renounce its witch hunt against WikiLeaks. The United States must dissolve its FBI investigation. The United States must vow that it will not seek to prosecute our staff or our supporters. The United States must pledge before the world that it will not pursue journalists for shining a light on the secret crimes of the powerful. And to the Army private who remains in a military prison in Fort Leavenworth, Kansas, who was found by the United Nations to have endured months of torturous detention in Quantico, Virginia, and who has yet, after 2 years in prison, to see a trial, he must be released. Bradley Manning must be released. If Bradley Manning did, as he is accused, he is a hero and an example to all of us, and one of the world's foremost political prisoners. There is unity in the oppression. There must be absolute unity and determination in the response.